The boys are back in town.
Hey, how's it going?
How you guys doing? Now, we're gonna go all crazy when we started the video, but me and Manny did the 9:15 workout, so all that craziness is gone. We're just literally just zapped of every energy.
Thank you, Alex.
Ion or whatever you want to call that we have left. We're totally toasted, but we wanted to get this video out. We wanted to talk about our trip, and then more importantly, we wanted to talk about how you guys can stay on track on the weekends and on vacation, because we feel that's something that's kind of been ongoing with our members. They've been asking how to stay on track, so this is something that we wanted to cover. Now, before we get into that, me and Manny are going to tell you about our trip. So with that said, hi Ashley, hope all is well. We missed you.
Hi Ashley.
Hope everything's going good. Come back to us soon. So Manny, what'd you think about Bridgeport and Mammoth and June Lake?
It was amazing. I'm thankful for you letting me be part of that and spending time with your family and all your amazing cousins. So yeah,
he's got a big crush on all my cousins.
Yeah, yeah, they're awesome people, and we had an awesome time, and we gathered. We went to different places, Mammoth and Yosemite, and we did hikes, and we ate great food with fish. Well, I didn't catch anything, but you were like the star.
I was slaying it.
It was on fire, right? So, and then they have this thing that they call the
fish slayer.
Fish fry, right?
We have a fish fry, yeah.
So this is when they go and the whole family brings all the fish that they caught, and then they cook it, and they have like a potluck style stuff, and then gather around the fire at the end, and they sing songs. That was like a totally amazing experience. It was just beautiful, and where we're at, the actual Bridgeport cabins and stuff like that, there's no service, so we can't use the internet. So we were like completely off the grid, and then we're just enjoying, like disconnected, but like you said, connected to actually people. You know what I'm saying?
They say that you won't find Wi-Fi in the forest, but I promise you'll find a better connection.
Yes, yes.
Isn't that great, Alex?
She's
she
like,
can't hear me. She's in the zone right now.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. So my family, every time I mention Bridgeport, they always think Bridgeport, Connecticut. Every time they're like, oh, Connecticut. I'm like, no, Bridgeport, California. No one has any idea where that is. But if you've ever been up to Mammoth, if you're driving up 395, you'll hit Mammoth. Well, actually, Bishop will be the first town you'll hit, and then after that, about 45 minutes after that, you'll hit Mammoth, and then you're gonna hit June Lake, which is about 15 minutes after that, and then about 40 minutes from there is Bridgeport, California, right? And then so my family has been going up every year during the month of July since the 60s, so it's just a huge family tradition. I have a big family. We go and we camp and we fish and we kayak and we swim, and we just do all kinds of outdoor activities. And this year, to be honest, we didn't really do a lot of fishing. We only fished like once or twice, but we did a ton of hiking, man. Was it brutal? And we hiked in Mammoth and we hiked in Yosemite, but it was funny because we hiked the Mammoth. The hike we did in Mammoth was just absolutely brutal. I mean, it was tough, and it's funny because for about 2 miles, would you say we were hiking in snow?
yeah,
About 2 miles, yeah. Because they got so much snow this year that for a good 2 miles of it, it's just all snow. We're just hiking through. It's unreal. In the middle of July. We'll have to post that video of you crossing the snow bridge. Call it the infamous snow bridge. You'll see why, but we're gonna post that pretty soon. I'm gonna have my buddy send me the video. But anyway, so we spent a day in Mammoth, and then when we got to the top of the mountain, there's the event center. There's all kinds of things you could do, right? So we decided, since we only had about 2 hours to do something before we had to get back to camp, we were like, oh, we'll just do a hike, right? So my cousin, he's my age, and he's like a super mountain man, right? So when he grabbed the brochure for the hikes, he grabbed the brochure for the biking trails and not for the hiking trails, right? So he didn't even read it. He was looking at the trails. He didn't even realize that there were biking trails. So he's like, "Oh, follow me. There's a trail right here, right?" So we're walking down the road, and we're like, he's like, "Oh yeah, the trail should be here." So we couldn't find the trail anywhere. So then finally, it's funny. Go ahead.
Sorry, but the reason why we did that is because all the since there was so much snow, they had some stuff going on. They closed the trails that were closed by Mammoth, so we had to go out the hidden path. So we were looking for our own trails.
Well, no, there were some that were open.
Oh yeah,
we just missed them.
Oh, okay.
He just grabbed the wrong brochure. So
yeah.
we were supposed to grab the brochure for hiking trails. So then, me, him, and three other people, we just got frustrated and we said screw it. So we just started walking into the woods. We just went off the grid and just created our own trail, basically, right? Yeah, it's super dangerous. I don't condone that by any means. So we're about 2 miles in, and then we see like this peak on top of this mountain, right? And it just looked cool. So we're like, that's where we're gonna go. So we decided just to hike all the way to that. So then you finally, as you're walking through snow, you get to the base of the mountain, right, where you hike all the way up to the peak. So the slope is like this.
Right there.
There we go. That's literally how it was, right? So we're like, we didn't know how we were gonna do it, but we just did it, right? So there was a point where we're just, for how many yards would you say it was? Like 2 football fields lengths?
I don't know, but it was.
Yeah, it was a long way up. So we're on all fours hiking up. At one point, I was just gonna say screw it, right? But then because we were exhausted. But then we got to a point where we're like, okay, we're this far, let's just keep going, right? And then once we got to the top, the scenery was just unreal. Like I honestly thought at that point, how many people do you think have been on that? It's you?
Who knows?
Yeah, like
because
a few.
there's rocks, so it's not like the hike is hard. It's just you're actually hiking on rock that is loose, like gravel, and it's hard to get up that. It's hard to get up that because there's no way to grip. So you got to go at an angle and go on all fours. You're talking about bird crawls, right? You're like on bird crawling and you're like out of breath because of the mountain and the air and everything. It's just like it was amazing. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it was a good time. And then so once we got to the top, it's funny because I'm not terrified of much, but the few things I am terrified of are heights. Heights scare the crap out of me. I was catching snakes up there and didn't care, but when it comes to heights, that stuff freaks me out. So once we got to the top, I did not want to get near the cliff. This guy was like 2 feet from the cliff, and I couldn't believe it. But anyway, once we're done with this video, I'm going to post some pictures that you can check out. Sammy, my boy, what's up, brother? Hope all is well, man.
What's up,
Keep
Sammy?
holding down Canada for us. It's my buddy Sammy. We're in a networking group. He's from Canada. Good dude, solid guy. So then after that hike, once we were done, we barely made it back. We were completely toasted. The following day, we went to Yosemite, right? And then so I don't know if you guys have ever been to Yosemite, but you once you get into the valley, there's all kinds of things you can do, right? So the hiking trail we took was called Nevada Falls. And so when I went last year, since we were still, I think, in our drought, so there gets to a point in the hike to where you're right next to the river, right? So a lot of the mist is kind of streaming off onto the steps, right? So it's wet. But last year, it really wasn't that wet because we didn't really have a lot of rain, right? But this year, since we got so much snow and so much rain, this river was just flowing. So the whole trail for a good mile was just drenched, right? You're walking through puddles, and then the trail is about 10 feet wide, and then so off to the side, it's just a cliff. So if you slip, you're done. Like you were literally, you're dead. So, and I couldn't believe it because there's hundreds of people walking up and down. I'm thinking, how do not more, like you would think like 1 every 200 people just would slip and fall, but that wasn't the case, which is bizarre, but it was scary. So once we got about 2 miles up and we got past that part of the hike, you reached to a flat area to where you could decide to go back down, or you could continue the hike, and then it will take you all the way around down a dirt trail that will take you back to your car. So it's funny because I don't know if you knew this, but I was sweating, dude. Once we got to the top, I did not want to go back down because going back down on that wet trail, it's super steep. It was super sketchy. We had a ton of kids with us, so my cousin goes, hey, we're not going to take that way down. We're going to go a different way around to our cars. And I go, oh shoot, I didn't know there was another trail, right? So I was totally stoked, had a peace of mind, wasn't sweating anymore. I'm like, okay, cool, right? Now, what he didn't tell me is that going that alternate route is an extra, but altogether, like.
Oh no, it's 4 miles to get down plus another mile, so it was like 10 miles total, like 11 or something.
Yeah, so we had already hiked up once we got to that point, like 2 or 3 miles.
Yeah, something like
like
more.
3 miles, and then had an additional 7-8 round trip. Yeah. So I had no idea, right? So it was like total 11 miles, and like 60-70% of that was all incline. So it was brutal. So we did a ton of hiking. We had a ton of fun. We were active. We treated ourselves, but we didn't overindulge. I would say we were smart about it. We had fun, but we didn't overindulge. We were active. We were exercising. We were doing fun stuff, right? So that made up for all the ice cream and all the bad stuff we had. But other than that, it was a good time. So
we worked out though. We worked out with the body weight, push-ups, pull-ups, squats, and GHR. So we did a lot of stuff too. We were working out. We were being active. We were eating. We were moving. We were having fun. It was awesome.
And working out 8,500 feet up will make a big difference.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll be pretty toasted a few minutes in. But it was a good experience nonetheless, and we're just happy to be back. So with that said, while we were gone, we noticed a lot of people. We have our own private Facebook group, and a lot of them, we all have the same struggles for people. It's usually the lack of support, lack of accountability, lack of motivation, right? But what I noticed is that a lot of people have a hard time staying on track on the weekends. And now this is my theory, right? And I've always told Manny this, during the week you have a set routine. You wake up, you take the kids to school, whatever it may be, you start work at 8 or 9 a.m., you're there till 5 p.m., you come to the gym, you go home, you cook dinner, then you do it all over again, right? Or whatever it may be. So that's typically the story for most people, right? For most of our members, right? So that's Monday through Friday. They have a routine, they're organized, They have their whole day planned out. They know what's going to happen, right? So it's much easier to stay on track. And then once the weekend hits, crash and burn. People just fall off, right? And the reason why, I think, because the weekend, there's no structure. It's just sporadic. You know, you're kind of flying by the seat of your pants. You know, you're just kind of going with the flow. So there's no structure. Nothing's planned out. You're just go, right? And the next thing you know, you had a ton of gelato. You had one too many drinks. You ate like crap. And then if you continue to do that, then what happens is you're always going to be taking one step forward, one step back with your goals. You're doing great throughout the week. Weekend hits, boom, you fall off. One step, so 2 steps forward, 1 step back, right? And that's always, if you get in that vicious cycle, it's going to be that much harder to reach your goals and produce the outcome you want, right? So, I mean, would you agree that's kind of like?
Yeah, it's going to get you're going to get frustrated because you're not seeing the result. You're putting a lot of work. You're going, well, doing this Monday to Friday, and then you don't think this weekend. And sometimes people don't eat enough. Sometimes people are eating too much. Sometimes people are not thinking about what they're doing. They're just doing stuff, and they think it's magically going to disappear. But you are putting the work. Sometimes people just started doing little bites here and this and that, and they think, oh, that's not a big deal. But those little bites here and there, or the things that you don't need, adds up to a lot of calories, and it just messes up inflammation. You know, throws you off. So yeah, it's not the best thing to do. So you got to make sure you're consistent, but also we want you to have fun, right?
Yeah, so and I think, like I said, the theme of this journey, right, is going to be consistency. So if you're consistent, you can't be consistent during the week and inconsistent on the weekends, right? And I tell people all the time, I use the example, like you could correlate that to anything you do in life, right? If you play a sport, you know, if you're not consistent with it, chances are of you getting better at that, it's never going to happen. If you have a craft, or, you know, you play an instrument, or you do something you enjoy, you know, if you're not consistent with it, if you don't practice it, you know, if you're not diligent on a consistent basis Monday through Sunday, you're more likely you're not gonna get better at it, right? It's just you have to live that, whatever you're trying to do, every single day, right? And don't get me wrong, you can have your moments, right? But you can't have 2 days of just, you know, throwing caution to the wind and doing whatever you want, right? So with that said, there's a few things that I think, in my personal opinion, why this happens, right? So for instance, when the weekend hits, you're gonna fall into those traps for 3 different reasons, right? One is having a lack of support, right? Support is crucial. Now we tell our members, like, they come in 3 times a week, which, you know, the way the program's designed, you guys are gonna get optimal results. Three days will get the job done. And we tell them, like, listen, we get you guys 3 times out of the week. That's essentially a little less than 3 hours out of the week. So my concern is, what do you do in the other 165 hours, right? So you're spending most of that time either with family, friends, or coworkers, right? So now, if you're not telling them exactly what you're doing or what your goals are or why you've been coming here, right? If they're not aware of it, then it's going to be easier to fall into the trap of going out with them and, you know, going to happy hour, or, you know, going to those barbecues, or drinking or eating ice cream or whatever it may be, right? So we got to build a support. Now, so you're going to have that unconditional support here at Unleashed, right?
Yeah.
But more importantly, you got to build that support in the house, right? At work, and within your friend circle, right? Like, everyone needs to know what you're doing. So that leads into my next thing, is being transparent with them, and then setting boundaries, right? So it'd be a matter of, you know, you sitting down with your family, or you sitting down with your friends, or, you know, your coworkers, and it's just however you want to get the point across. But it's like saying, look, guys, this is what I started doing. I just started going to Unleashed. These are my goals. This is what I struggle with. This is what I want to get to. This is what I'm trying to get rid of, right? And I need your help. I need your love. I need your support, right? So it's just a matter of being transparent with them, right? So you got to get that point across. And if now, so not also that kind of ties into setting boundaries. So doing that, you're setting boundaries. Like, look, and like I said, there's nothing wrong with self-love. That's practicing self-love. You're setting boundaries. There's nothing selfish about self-love. You need to do it for yourself, right? So if there's a point in your life where you feel you need to do that, do it, because you deserve it, right? So like I said, build that support. And if there's people who are like, you're fine, have another drink, well, then that's, you know, that's a question that you're gonna have to, or another matter in itself, as far as rethinking your circle when it comes to your friends, right? Or filtering those relationships, right? Maybe not hanging out with them in the evening, or what it may be. So so one, you got to build a support team, right? 2, you got to set boundaries and be transparent. Like, that is huge, right? Was there anything you want to add to that? Would you say kind of?
Yeah, he's right, you know, and sometimes you have to make sure that you put those goals, have those goals, your why you're going to do this, and that way this becomes real, because if you don't have the boundaries, you don't have those people that around you that are gonna help you out.
Yeah.
See, because we're gonna be here, we're gonna help you out, like you said, 3 hours, about 3 hours. Then we
Yeah.
have a Facebook group. That's why we do all this stuff. We have a private Facebook group to make sure that we're always communicating on social media, emails, and all this stuff. And then you want to make sure that you have us at our disposal. So we have like Trevor, myself, Alex in the background, you know, Rafa, Cheryl. You have all of us helping you out. So you have a support system, but you're also at work like 8 hours. Some people are working more. So that's another big chunk of your time. So you want to make sure you have people there helping you out, because I notice people say, hey, you know, someone brought this for lunch, someone brought this for breakfast, and then you have these people like, you know, bringing these things and it's affecting you. So we gotta make sure you make the right choices and have people helping you out when it comes to that, because that's gonna affect you for your goals. So that's it's a big deal too. Have your goals.
Patty, we miss you, girl.
Patty, what's going
Stop
on?
for saying come back to us. Come in. We miss you. Hope all is well. We're here to help. Never hesitate to reach out to us. We're here for you.
Yeah, and another thing that's gonna help you out, do this. So a lot of us, or a lot of our clients have children. So you have to be the example. If you're not doing it for yourself, you gotta be the example to change your children's lives. Because if you don't, like if I have children, this is what I'll do. You know, I'm gonna be the example for them to follow my path of health. I just was talking to someone about this, right? Because if you set the example, your kids are gonna be watching what you're doing. Because you tell them, hey, be healthy, eat your vegetables and stuff like that, and you're eating crap, or you're bringing crap to the stuff to the house, like cookies, Ariel, soda, and you let them do that. Everything starts with you. You gotta make sure you are the example, so your kids will grow up healthy, away from diabetes, you know, other bad lifestyle diseases that you have out there, because you're not setting the example. So if I will do it for my family, you know, I'll do it for those people that need that help.
True.
You're the one that has to be starting that example. If you're not doing that, your kids are gonna follow your path, and then, you know, it's gonna be your fault. You know, we gotta make sure our future, our kids, are the best that it could be. But if you don't do that, you're gonna have a lot of problems. So make sure you do it for your kids, do it for your family, do it to be there for your husband, your significant other. You wanna make sure you guys grow together and live life. You know, go have those trips that we had. Like your family, like what, 45, 46, 50? Yeah. His family look amazing. They're like runners, they work out, they're in great shape.
Yeah, they're in good shape.
They look good, they're confident because they're taking care of their health.
So that's where I get this from.
It's like the fun thing of youth, and their kids are doing the same, right? All your nephews are seeing that. Super positive vibes. You know, it's like, it's gonna be a generational thing. They're seeing that, the kids are gonna do that, because that's what you've been doing, right? You've been doing this for generations, your grandfather, so you gotta make sure you instill.
And you know what's funny? It's funny because all my little cousins, they also look to me too, and you know, they say that I'm fit, they say that I'm strong, and they ask me like, well, what are you doing? You know, like how can I get strong like you? Blah blah blah. And it's like, man, you guys are doing it. Just keep staying consistent, keep working hard, and you'll eventually get there. But you got to put in the work. Right?
And they're all in sports, right? All your little cousins.
Yeah, they're all active.
I didn't see none of his cousins. They were like overweight. They're all like
no, they're all fit.
Yeah, it's like
they're all fit, man.
It's just family, guys. You gotta take care of that. It doesn't matter how much money you have or whatever. If you have to put in the work, you have to be the example.
Yeah, no, it's true, and that's a good point. Like I said, you know, you be the example. You know, identify your why, let that be a driving force behind you staying on track, right? Even if it is the weekend, if you're going on vacay. And the reason why I put vacay on the title is because like weekends are like mini vacations, right? Like whether you're going on vacation or weekend, I feel a lot of it's all in the same, right? So that's huge. Build a support team, people around you, right? Set those boundaries and be transparent, right? And now third of all, eliminate temptation, right? Temptation is very real in many aspects. If you have access to something, you're gonna have it, right? And the more you have something, the more you want it. The less you have it, the less you want it, right? Yes. So think about the household. You know, if you got someone who's bringing home ding dongs and ice cream and cookies and this and that, and that's something, if you struggle with sugar, guess what? Right. You're gonna eat those ding dongs, you're gonna eat those cookies, you're gonna eat that ice cream. You're just going to do it. If you have access to it, you're gonna do it. It's like putting alcohol in front of an alcoholic. It's just, if someone who struggles with that, you just can't. It's just they're gonna fall, right? So you got to eliminate that temptation. So that's part of building that support team. Like I said, in the household, if everyone's on the same page, then those temptations aren't going to be there. But if they are, if you have certain circumstances where you know they're still bringing that home, let them know what you're trying to do. Let them be transparent so they can hold you accountable if they see you reaching for any of that stuff, right? But more ideally, if you could get rid of that stuff, clean house. You know, look in the pantry, right? Get rid of that stuff. You know, look in the fridge. Get rid of that stuff. Look in the cupboards. If there's anything that you have that you know isn't going to benefit you or add any value to the outcome you're trying to produce, get rid of it. And like I said, the less you have it, the less you're going to crave it. But when it comes to sugar and junk food, the more you have it, those cravings are hard to kick because you're just programming your taste buds and your body to want that stuff. But like I said, get rid of temptation.
I would like to say something about
Go
that.
ahead,
Like,
brother.
I don't have the biggest sweet tooth, right? And even no matter what I do, and everything I know, and how much I educated myself, just these foods that they're making, like this, like, you know, Oreo cookies, donuts, gelato, ice cream, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So the one thing some people say, can I have this, can I have that? Yeah, go ahead and enjoy it. I think one of our clients, like Kelly, right? She's been killing it. She's great. They did a great information for a 6-week challenge. And then she said she could have something, right?
true.
And I was like, yeah, go have it. You know, we want to make sure it's a lifestyle change. We don't want you guys to have a bad association with food. But at the same time, you know, have something, have a small portion, enjoy it. But the one thing that I think I done the research, I seen it, and I done it for myself is sugar. The one thing, if you do have sugar, and I notice time and time again, if you have sugar, and let's say you have this or that, you're gonna want it more. And I stopped doing that. I thought it was gonna be impossible, and I stopped eating sugar for like 6 months, and I wasn't craving it. And when I actually had it, I only could have a little piece, and I was satisfied because it was so sweet because my taste buds was reprogrammed. So yeah, you wanna make sure that the one thing probably want to stay away from is sugar, because that's going to be like the silent killer. That's like the one thing that really is going to make you crave it more. So yeah, I don't want to say do not have it completely, but that's the one thing. If you do have, you're going to want more and more. And if you, like for example, I have my nephews, they have like stuff like that. And if I know I'm like a little rat, like looking for it. Where is it? I know they have it somewhere, right? It's, yeah. So it's one of those things that you are gonna wanna go out of your way to get it. So it's like, even for myself, yeah. Wanna show Alex?
Look at that hard work. She's working hard right now. She doesn't know that we're looking at her. Look at her. Wait till she looks over. I don't know.
She doesn't even know what's going on. She's in the zone.
She's like a little rabbit. You know how Manny talked about being a little rat? She's like a little rabbit right now, all the jumping. Anyway, Julie, awesome workout this morning. You kicked butt. Lydia, I miss you. I can't wait to see you. But yeah, no, good point. Like I said.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to go against it, guys. I couldn't do it, and I'm very disciplined when I'm disciplined. But once you have it, it's just the way it is. You're gonna want it, so do not bring it home. Do not bring it home. Okay, I know I heard some of you guys, your husbands, sometimes they want to treat you, and they're like, oh my God, I know she loves this, and here's your favorite thing, and that's gonna backfire. I know they're doing it out of love, but that's when you have to have what you're saying. You have to have a support system. Let them know, sit them down, make sure they're aware, they're there, because sometimes they're gonna be doing something else, not thinking about what you're saying. Let them, and just sit them down, let them know, hey, help me with this. Or husbands, tell your wives, help me with this, whatever, whoever that is, right?
Because your outcome and the result that you want is always going to outweigh any temporary satisfying pleasures you may have, right? At the end of the day, the only thing you're going to get out of that is just the taste. That's it. Really, it's just the taste. After that, 90% of the time, you're just going to regret it. When it comes to the drinking, you're going to regret it the next morning. When it comes to having the cupcake or the freaking tub of ice cream, you're just going to regret it right after, right? So that's how scary sugar is, you know? But anyway, without getting too much into detail about that, just to make it simple for you guys, right? So how to overcome falling in those traps on the weekends and on vacay. 1, build a support team. Friends, family, coworkers, let everyone know what you're trying to do, right? So build a support team and be transparent and set boundaries, right? Love yourself first. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing selfish about self-love, right? Number 3, eliminate temptations.
Yes.
Right, that's it. And then I guarantee that the weekends and when you go on vacay, the struggle will be less and less. I promise you guys.
Yeah.
And so do those 3 things and I promise you'll see a significant change, right? So if you're someone who struggles with building a support team, right, setting boundaries and being transparent, right, and you struggle with temptation all around you, Unleash is here to help, right guys? So if you have any questions ever about our program, feel free to reach out to us, message us here on the page. You could always visit our website, unleashstrength.com, or you can check out our reviews on Yelp and Google and Facebook as well. Any questions you may have, whether it's, like I said, about our program, fitness related, nutrition, just ask us. We're here to help, and we could always send you something. You could always download some free workouts. That way you keep you on track at home if you struggle with time management.
How do you download them? Where?
You go to unleashstrength.com, and then there'll be a little section where you can drop your email, and then we'll send you some free workouts. So what I'm going to do too is we actually have a special that I'm going to be running up until this Friday, right? It's only good till this Friday, so it's a month special. I'll put the link below, click on it, and see if Unleashed Strength Gym is a good fit for you.
Also, if you want to know more about us and what we're doing, I actually have like a little fly on the wall, kind of see what we are doing all the time. Go to Unleashed Strength Gym on Instagram, and we have a lot of stuff what we do and our workouts, and you're gonna see a lot of, us being dorks and stuff like that. So it's just Gotta go
So
on Unleashed
dorky.
Strength. Yeah, you want to laugh and you're just gonna like have a
I like
good
to
time.
think I'm smooth, but I'm just a big dork.
No, we're super cool, dude. So UnleashedStrengthGym.com, Unleashed Strength Gym Instagram page, okay? So look us up.
See, there she is.
Say hi.
There she blows. Okay, guys, with that said, have an awesome Monday. Break a sweat, eat good, make good decisions. And like I said, if you ever need anything, Unleashed Strength Gym in Corona is here to help. Love you guys. Have an awesome week. We'll see you soon. That's
What?
right. Don't get it twisted. See you later.